How you doing tonight? I'm just getting everything set up on my end. Alright, cool. Hopefully it's working. I switched out my thread and needle, but didn't do a like a test sew, so I'm gonna check it now. How's everybody's week going? It's been good here. I've been trying to enjoy my last week before having to go back to work. Hi, Renetta. Hey, Nicole. Hey, Dad. Dad, that's because you're on Grandpa babysitting duty. Nicole, I love the quilt that you posted. It's absolutely beautiful. Alright, so I think the stitches are good. My plan tonight is I'm going to a concert at MetLife Stadium. So they have a clear bag policy, and I don't have any like completely clear vinyl. So you could either do clear bags or a bag that is no larger than 6.5 by 4.5. So I cut out some stuff here. I'm using the Majestic nylon that's in my shop, which is like has the nylon exterior with the white soft backing. It's like waterproof. It's like wrinkle resistant. When I first started sewing, I used to make these like little tiny pouches that were, you couldn't fit a phone in them. They'd be really good. Like as a teacher, you could hook it to your lanyard and like kind of put your key on it, and it could hold a few things. So my idea is that I'm going to make a vertical bag that is small enough with a slip pocket on the back, and then like a flap that comes over, and with like 2 D-rings. Because I was thinking about doing a wristlet, but I personally don't like using wristlets. I like having my hands free. I feel like when I hold a wristlet, I'm constantly like paying attention to that. So I just randomly cut these out. I'm not following a pattern. I'm hoping that it works out how I think it will. So it could work out well, or it could not. So we're gonna find out together. My thought is that with the little flap, I could put my keys and like license money inside there, and then with the slip pocket on the back, I like to put my phone so I can easily access it. On the pouch that I used to make, it used to have like a little zipper pouch in the front, but for this I wouldn't really need that. So we'll see. I also cut out for like super tiny 1/2-inch D-rings, and I hope there's enough space. So we'll see. It's gonna go off the fly. Hopefully it goes well, and we're gonna find out together if it doesn't. If it doesn't, I still have time where I could remake a wristlet, but like I said, this is my preference. So I'm gonna do a flap. Normally I would, and I'm gonna have a snap on it. Normally I would like put some extra interfacing or something on this. I'm not doing any of that. I'm using, like I said, the Majestic nylon. Different shops call it different things. So this would be similar to like the Theratex or Dragon Sheen bonded nylon. So it doesn't really need to be interface. And then I'm using water resistant canvas from Mormino. So this bright yellow is from Lauren. So we'll see. I'm gonna start with my flap, and I probably should put the snap on first, but I want to like turn it and everything first, so I'm just gonna reach inside and do it after. Hi Wendy, how are you? haven't been doing too much sewing this week. I was home for the weekend for one of my niece's birthday parties. So I haven't really worked on this too much at all. My plan for the rest of the week is to work on the bag pattern that I was showing last week. I really want to try to get that written up and what's it called, like photographs, try to get the pattern so I can get it to testers. To me, that's the hardest part. It's not the sewing, it's putting the whole pattern together. Also, the way my brain works, like when I write a pattern, most people, well, I don't know about most people, but I feel like a lot of people will write out their instructions and then they go back and they like then take the pictures and add them in. I have to do everything at once. So I'm writing the instructions down, putting the pictures in, and basically going through all of it at the same exact time. And I've always been like that. Even though I'm a teacher, I'm like one of those people. I hate rough drafts. I hate, even though there's drafts of patterns, but like I used to hate when they tell you, like teachers would tell you like make an outline and stuff. I'm the worst when it comes to that. I like, when I write reports, I just go right into it, and then you know, I'll edit it for spelling and stuff, but I don't make like major corrections in terms of like changing around the content and whatnot. So I don't know, it's just how my brain works. It's funny, it drives Jason nuts. I'm the same way with like filming my YouTube tutorials and stuff. A lot of people just like film straight and then will edit and speed things up in the edit and delete things. I pretty much film exactly as I want my video. Like I will film the time lapses in time lapse. So when it comes to editing, it's like only if I really make a major mistake. It's more of like just kind of piecing it all together and evening out the like volume and the lighting and stuff. Also, let me see. Okay, good. I had like a pop-up ad in the live chat and I couldn't see anything. Alright, so this is going to be my flap. I need to find the center, and for this one, you could, I don't care if the flap is, if the snap shows, so I'm going to do it right through both. If you wanted to hide it, you could only punch it through the lining. I'm going to do it through both. So basically, I'm just going to find my center and measure up a little bit. Hey Kim, how you doing? And I have a blue marking pen. These are my favorite. Just check, because sometimes I've had it not come, it's water soluble. I've used it on webbing before, like nylon seatbelt webbing, and it didn't wipe out. So definitely check it first if you're going to use it somewhere that you're going to see it. And I'm totally just like estimating these measurements as far as where the snap is going, and I'm hoping it will work out okay. We'll find out. And I have one of these little kits. I got it off Amazon, though it does say Cam Snap here, so I think it is just Cam Snap sold through Amazon. I love this thing. I do recommend making sure you squeeze it really, really hard though, because sometimes if you don't, the snaps will on pop. So I'm really winging it, Kim. It's not a pattern. I know there are similar ones out there. It's based on a pouch that I used to make when I was first learning to sew, and I need a stadium bag. So I'm just making a very tiny, small crossbody. And hoping that my measurements and everything that I cut out is going to actually line up and work out okay. Oh, I sent him for a walk. That's awesome. Your doggies are getting so big. I saw your picture the other day of all three of them. I can't believe, especially the little puppies. Yeah, Wendy, I love that. I have the cam snap press now, but I don't have the dies for these plastic snaps. So I still use the hand one for the plastic snaps. I think that's technically center, but what's throwing it off is the jar of fireflies. Also, you might notice that the jars are upside down. I originally cut this and it was like way too small. So I cut another one, not realizing that I flipped the fabric around. But this is for me and basically just kind of testing it all out. So I'm not too worried about it. So Arnetta, they have to be clear if you want like 12 by 12. On MetLife's website, they said clear, and they have to be completely clear, or you could have like the football team logo, or it could be a bag that is 6.5 inches by 4.5 inches. So this should turn out to be 6.5 by 4.5 when I'm done, if I measured everything correctly. So hopefully I did. And I don't have any completely clear like a vinyl or TPU to make my own bag. Somewhere I have like this, it's like a Harry Potter wristlet. It was mostly clear with a little logo that I've used before. So my plan is that if this really fails me, I can always run it back to the car and just shove stuff in my pockets. But according to their website, it should be okay for the measurements. We'll find out. And these are what I'm going to use for D-rings. And I just bought these like super, super tiny, they're 1/2 inch D-rings from Wawak. I like them. I use these all the time on my willow wristlet pattern. So I'm going to use them for here. So I just cut these D-ring connectors to 1 inch wide, and I'm going to fold them to center because you're not going to see the back anyways. This Dollar Tree, or this double-sided tape is from Dollar Tree, and I like it because it's not super sticky, so it usually doesn't gum up my needle and give me a problem. I really hope that I didn't just jinx that, because you can see this is so tiny. It's only 1/2 inch wide, so trying to clip this on the machine is so hard. And I'm just going to top stitch down both sides. I'm going to do this first. Because it's not super sticky, it like doesn't always hold everything in place for a long time. So I figured I'd top stitch down one side and then do the same here. Yeah, it's so, like, for me, it's just convenient. I did buy some more off of Wawak, I don't know if they call it Hyper Stick, like the super sticky one. I had gotten some rolls off of Amazon before that worked great, but the supplier is different now. They show out of stock. So I bought the Wawak ones, but with that, I know I have to keep it out of my seam allowances because I will get skip stitches. So this Dollar Tree seems to work pretty well. My machine doesn't really skip stitches with it. So, oh, their mini rotary cutter. This is the one from Dollar Tree, and actually, I use them all the time. I was doing a quilt block the other day, and it was so convenient just to have like a tiny little rotary cutter and mat here. Oh no, what's going on with Liz? Oh no, I hope she's okay. I know she usually does her lives on Sundays, but the past couple weekends, like, this past Sunday we drove, like, normally it takes, like, if there's no traffic from my parents to where I live, it's 2 hours and 20 minutes. But during the summer and since COVID, so many people moved, like, out of New York into, like, the closer side of Connecticut, and traffic has been terrible. It took us, like, 4 hours to get home the other day. I really hope she's okay. Alright, so I got my two D-ring connectors, and I'm just going to put them through and just do a really quick small like top stitch across just to try to keep them from turning. And I'm actually going to switch my foot out to a zipper foot just so I can get closer. They're so small that I basically just backstitched over my whole stitch. Oh, hopefully she's just like enjoying time with her family before her kids go back to school. Kim, I wonder if you try posting in the Marathon Society group. Maybe someone there might know too. Like, I don't know what I just did with my scissors. Oh, here they are. I know some people love snips, but I prefer using a pair of embroidery scissors for like cutting my threads. I feel like I can get extra close to like to really trim them. I think also because I started sewing and using embroidery scissors, that to then switch to a pair of snips that you kind of like squeeze together feels funky. Yeah, she usually does post with updates, whether it's about, you know, sewing or her kitties or something. Hopefully it's just, you know, life got busy. Especially like, you know, Labor Day coming up, last weekend of summer. Or for I know a lot of you have kids that are back in school though, so I bet summer has felt like it's already ended. Okay. So I have my two D-ring connectors. I'm going to take whatever one I want to be like the back of my little bag. And that is where I'm going to attach the D-rings and the flap. And I'm just marking the center because I really want to make sure that the center of my flap is lined up. I'm doing only 1/4 of an inch seam allowance, and I'm hoping that gives me enough space. I'll show you in a second for my D-ring connectors and for my flap. I'm not sure if it will. Yeah, I have a couple pair of the squeeze snips as well. I got them, like one of them in a box from Lauren from Warmino, and it just, not that they're bad, it just, I'm not used to it. So, alright. So what I'm trying to figure out is, can I put my D-rings on the side of the flap, because I'm obviously sewing on a domestic, so I don't want it to be too thick. So I'm also going to base my D-rings. I think that if I based it on, I still have enough wiggle room here for my seam allowance that the D-ring won't get stuck or caught. So I'm just going to put them directly on the side of the flap, and I am going to base stitch all of these at the same exact time. And I have the little ruler here. I would say I'm putting it's about 1/2 inch where the D-ring is hanging down. I don't like them to stick out too much. So I think 1/2 inch will be good with the seam allowance. We'll find out. I feel like that's the theme of the night. We're gonna find out. I'm just switching back to my regular foot. It's so funny because when I first started doing lives, I used to be so nervous, and I'd be like, okay, I have to have everything all done and planned out, and like, I never thought that I would just be kind of like making bags on the fly and hoping that they, you know, come together okay. So I really appreciate all of you joining in each week. Definitely have helped build my confidence. Yeah, Kim, I'm gonna do it crossbody style. I'm not a huge fan of wristlets, so my idea is to try it crossbody and hope that it works. Worst case scenario, I'll just do the wristlet and switch it out. But my hope is that I'll be able to hang it, and then basically it will look like that. And the pouch, when I've originally made them, I said before, like, I used to have a zipper on the front. But for this, I'm going to do a slip pocket on the back, so that way I can just slide my phone into it easily. Aw, thanks, Nicole. I have to switch it up. In one of the crafting groups the other night, someone was like, you know, what do you do to take a break from bags or whatever? And for me, it's like, I do other stuff too. Like, funny enough, I have a cross stitch that's been going on literally since it was a Halloween so long that I need to finish up. So that way I can do a winter one that's going to be starting. But, like, I also play video games, but when it comes to sewing, like, I like to make a bag, and then a different day I'll do like a quilt block. I have a serger, just like the brother one that I got for $200 at Walmart, and a ton of knits, and I really love like making my niece's clothing. So yeah, I just like exploring all the different things. Also, I didn't say it out loud. I'm working on, this is gonna be the slip pocket. So I'm just clipping it and I'm gonna sew along the top. It's wrong sides together so I can flip them. Cords of cotton. I told my husband. Oh, I love putting quilting cotton with vinyl or cork with bags because you can get so much variety with the quilting cotton. So yeah, definitely don't. I mean, I guess you could sell it, right, and get you some money back, but don't rule out using it for bags too. And honestly, like I haven't really had quilting cotton fall apart. It sometimes it will get dirty more often, so I just try to use it on places where it's not gonna rub against my jeans or whatnot. That's awesome, Kim. Are you gonna be using them? I have, you can't see, there's like a closet behind me and I have two shelves of one almost like completely with knits. And my friend Lori gave me her projector and I cut out some dresses for my nieces and I need to actually just like sew them. And a lot of them are like character prints and stuff. So they're going into 4th and 5th grade. So I need to use them before they get too old. And I keep telling myself if I finish sewing them up, then I'll have more room to organize. I feel like my craft room right now is bursting at the seams. I sewed the top and just folded it. These edges are gonna get caught up in the seam allowance. So I'm just going to top stitch across the top for the slip pocket. A U-Haul box of brocade. Oh my gosh. It's funny, and it's true, like it makes me feel better hearing that stuff because I don't like waste to begin with. Like I don't really throw out my scraps. But it's cool to see like you can repurpose or reuse that, or if like you can't sell stuff. What's cool is there's always so like people you can donate it to. Like in the school system, I've used fabric in my classroom before, or like the art teacher. This shifted a tiny bit as I was sewing. You can see I'm just going to align it the best that I can. And even though this is going to be the back, so I'm putting it on the back just because like when I have my cell phone in a slip pocket, I like it against my body. So I already put this stuff on. I don't know, it's just how my brain worked. It might have been easier to put the pocket on first, but I'm just going to fold this out of the way, align the bottom, and then just baste around the edges. And like I said, it's a little bit misaligned, like a little crooked, but I'm just going to baste it and then I can trim it down after and it will get caught up in the seam allowances when I'm putting the whole bag together. Yeah, Nicole, it's so true. I wanted to get, like, I actually feel like I did a lot of sewing stuff this summer, but I definitely had plans to get even more done. Time is just, it's just flying. Oh, that's great, Kim. At least like you could like donate the sheets and they're, you know, useful. my tails just now. I thought I locked it up, but I think it's okay. That's the one thing, this fabric is, it is slippery because it's nylon, so it does take a little bit of getting used to. And if I would have clipped this more, it would have held it better, but for this, because it's a project for me, I'm more about time efficiency now than I am about it being so perfect. Winter will never get too old. Yeah, I have one niece who, she's just so imaginative and like loves fairy tales. That's true. She'll be one of the Disney adults, and that's totally okay. I love that we've come to a time where that stuff is more acceptable. Your tulip pink. I know. I have a hoard of tulip pink as well. But the Alice in Wonderland is going to be turned into a quilt. Or at least that's my intention. I have 3 more quilt blocks on this one that I'm working on right now. And then I plan on starting that. And that's the Ghost Party one I've talked about before. So I'll probably end up sewing some of that on Tuesday Night Lives. Hopefully I get it done before Halloween. I'm a Disney adult. Yeah, I love Disney, and I've always, my whole life I grew up like reading fantasy novels and stuff, so I've always liked like that type of thing. So yeah, I'm glad it's definitely more more acceptable. So this is going to be the back of the bag. So hopefully when it's all sewed together, it is going to look like this and will fit my phone. What I need to do now, and this is going to be the difficult part that I hope works out okay, is I just grab my front piece here and I am going to fold over this flap and just kind of estimate where I think the snap should go. If I was writing this up like an actual pattern, I would do the math out and measure it and stuff, but as long as it lines up, I think you're good. I'll hole punch that before before I can't see it. I almost can't see it already. Should have used like a silver marking pen because of the black fabric. Oh, you love Winnie the Pooh. Yeah. One of the ladies that I worked with, Winnie the Pooh is her favorite. I've made her little like Winnie the Pooh pouches and stuff before. Yeah, when I go to bed, I need noise, and I either put on like a Disney movie or like some type of National Geographic animal show, usually like a shark one. So now I'm gonna put the snap on from the back, and I have the one for the flap here went through 2 layers of material, like a water resistant canvas and the Majestic nylon. Since this doesn't have a lining, this is a scrap of water resistant canvas, and I'm just going to fold it and hole punch it and use it kind of as a backing. This is another reason why I love scraps. Like that other piece, like I couldn't really sew anything out of it, but it now becomes a perfect backing just to give a little bit more support to this, so it's not tugging directly on the fabric. And if I was using like quilting cotton, I would probably want to use some fray check, but these won't fray, so. Alright. And before I get too far, I always like double check that the snap is actually going to work. I have definitely accidentally put them where I've warped it and then they don't snap together properly. I was also debating about if I should box the bottom of these corners just to make it more three-dimensional. But I think I'm just gonna leave them flat. It might not be the most perfect like turnout at the corner. But I think it will still be okay. So what I'm gonna do now is sew the sides and the bottom and leave the top open. So far this is coming out how I have envisioned it. I was going to use a 3/8 seam allowance. That's like my preferred seam allowance in bag making. But because of the D-rings and everything at the top, I think that that the 3/8 would have hit the D-rings. So one of the other things that Jason and I have been working on the past week is with the shop. Our website currently is hosted through Etsy, and we have a Shopify for like when we do the pre-orders and such. But we are going to switch our website, still have an Etsy, but switch our website host to Shopify. And I'm really excited about it because I can send like marketing emails and do different sales, and it just gives you way more control on the back end than Etsy. So if you notice the website or anything changing, that's what's going on. I put a post in my group, but I figured I'd mention it here too. So I wasn't able to go all the way to the top. I could feel it hitting the D-ring with my regular presser foot. So what I did is I just backstitch and I switched to my zipper foot, and I'm gonna come back down here, backstitch, and then finish my stitch using that zipper foot so I have more room. And that's something I do a lot on like my personal makes. If like my thread runs out, I'll just come back further down, like backstitch. I don't know how well you can see it, but so now it goes all the way up to the top. It doesn't hit my D-ring. Should be able to turn this after pretty well. What I am going to do, my pinking shears don't work so well on like squishy fabric, so I'm not going to pink them, but I am going to just snip at an angle at these corners. So hopefully when I turn it, it just gives a cleaner corner. Kim, I have to watch your video. I saw you were making a backpack. Which one when I was setting up my live tonight, I saw the headline of it. Which one did you make? So now I'm just going to do my lining. I'm not doing any slip pockets or any zipper pockets in it. So I'm just putting these right side together. Sometimes I have such a hard time figuring out what are the right sides. And I'm going to do the same thing like I did for the exterior, so the two long sides in the bottom. What I am going to do for the lining is to make sure it fits better. At the top, I'm going to start at 1/4 inch, but I'm going to taper it to 3/8 along the sides, the bottom, and then up this side, and taper it back down to the 1/4 inch, just so that way my lining fits inside of the bag a little bit better. Oh, the Keanu from Uh-Oh Creations. I'll have to look at that one. Off the top of my head, I don't know what that is. Is it more like a mini backpack or is it a big backpack? I love using backpacks for work, which is why I'm asking. So it would have to be big enough to fit an iPad. Though I think out of all the bags, I really, really enjoy making backpacks. I make a lot of mini backpacks, but I usually end up selling them because they're not my preference for purse type. Oh, with a laptop pouch, awesome. That would be perfect for work. I have to check that out. Alright, so I am going to trim down the seam allowance just because they are a little bit wider, but I'm only going to trim it till I get to like a 1/2 inch away from the top. I'm not going to go all the way up to the top. It just makes it easier when I put these together in a minute. Oh, she's been waiting a year. Yeah, it's funny. I know. Sometimes my cousins and nieces and people ask me for things, and I'm like, I'm sorry. When I get to it, I'll get to it. I'm also really bad that, like, sometimes I'll do a practice pattern, but normally I just jump right in with both feet. Unless, of course, I'm like designing a pattern, then I've made like multiple. Alright, so I am going to turn this. Do I want this one right side facing out? Oh, shoot, you know what I did? I didn't think about it. So you're gonna learn another trick that I do. I needed to leave a turning hole in the bottom of this, and I didn't. So when that happens, I'm going to pick apart the seam, and then instead of restitching it, I'll literally just backstitch over this side here and this side here to kind of lock those stitches in place. It's probably not like 100% advisable, and definitely don't do that if you're selling a bag. But I've done it so many times on ones for me, and knock on wood, I have not had them come apart yet, so. I can't believe I didn't think about this. Actually, yes, I can. I can't tell you how many times I've accidentally not left a turning hole. An embarrassing amount. You know how people are like, oh, I joined the Forgot the Zipper Pull Club? I think I would be the president of Forgot to Leave a Hole to Turn Through. Alright. So I picked out those stitches, and like I said, I'm just going to backstitch over where I started picking them out. Oh yeah, spoon flour can be kind of pricey. So yeah, I would definitely do a practice then. I like spoon flowers. I have ordered their Minky a lot, and they have like a recycled canvas, which I really like too. I have one cousin that always asks me to make blankets. Her son is obsessed with school buses, and school bus fabric is so hard to find, but the Minky from Spoonflower is great. Alright, so right now these are both wrong side facing out. I need one right side facing out, so I'm just turning this. And there's like a little corner here. I'm not gonna go super crazy into really poking these because obviously I'm gonna have to turn this again. So, alright. So now I'm going to put my, I don't think it matters if I do lining inside or outside. I'm gonna put my exterior with the wrong side facing out into my lining. Sometimes I have to like clip it and really think about the steps, so like this would make sense, so that when I pull it through, the right side of the lining is going to go into it. And so what I'm doing is I'm going to have to sew in a circle around the top here where that flap is. So I'm just going to line up my seams on the left and the right. This is why the seam allowance is so important, that it's accurate at the top of both your linings. So even though I increased it to 3/8, the beginning had to be 1/4, because if it wasn't the same measurement, this would not line up. I used to struggle with that so much as a beginner bag maker. Also, if you had marked centers and stuff, if this was a bigger bag, I probably would mark my centers. Because it's not, I didn't really feel the need to, and it seems to be matching up okay. And I am going to pull off so I can, no. So this is so small that it's not going to fit around like the arm, but I'm still going to keep it off because I think it is going to give me enough clearance. What I'm debating about is whether I sew it like this from the inside or the outside. I think I'm actually going to clip it more and sew it on the outside, just because I'm afraid that the presser foot is really going to slip on that nylon. And if it slips, I might end up with a like a little wrinkle somewhere. So I'm hoping not to have that happen, but we'll see. Oh wow, Nicole, that is crazy. That's really gone up. I think the last time, it's been a year or two since I've ordered the recycled canvas. And it definitely wasn't $40. I think it was like 28 or something. And what I do with spoon flour is I always wait for like sales if it's something that I can wait for. Oh, that's a good idea to color block it. I also switched to a zipper foot because when I come around this side here, I want to make sure that I'm not hitting the D-ring, the bottom of the D-rings. Alright, so like I said, hopefully this works out. It's such a small... As much as I don't want to, I think I'm going to have to sew it with the slippery side because it's so small. I don't think I'll be able to keep everything lined up properly if I don't. All right. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully it goes okay. Oh yeah, that's smart, Kim. They do sales like I feel like frequently enough that if you don't need it right away that you could probably space it out. That's what I do for my cousin with the blankets because the Minky for the blanket size I need 2 yards. And then what I'll do is I'll just use like a Shannon Minky, or when Joanne's was around I would use their, I think it was called like So Lush or something like that, for the backing. Sorry, this is probably really hard to see on the video right now. So basically what I'm doing is I'm sewing it from the inside and I'm kind of just like keeping this open and wrapping it around, making sure that I can see it to help guide it all. I'm just trying to be careful because the clips want to get pushed up against everything. So. Thankfully this doesn't seem to be slipping too much. So I'll know more once I get to the end, but I don't see it creating any ripples or anything as of right now at least. Yeah, Nicole. I don't know. I mean, I'm very grateful, at least with the domestic, I can pull off and like access the arm. With the flatbed industrials, I'm always amazed that people can get such like perfect top stitching when they can't move it, you know. All right, so it didn't ripple that I can see, so I'm just trimming it. And I did backstitch when I was putting the D-rings in and the pocket, so hopefully. And I always leave my D-ring connectors long while I'm sewing everything. Now I'm going to trim them down, but I'm not cutting them all the way. They overhang a tiny, tiny bit. That's just my personal preference. Some people cut them all the way. With this, it's not going to fray, but if it is something that could fray, like a webbing, I definitely wouldn't cut too far down, or make sure you're at least like heat sealing it. Oh man, did I just... Oh no, okay. I really did do it wrong, didn't I? Darn it. So, watch what's gonna happen. I was gonna pull it through this way. I think I needed my lining right, my bag right side out, because this is what's gonna happen. It's going to come through like this. And see, alright, this is what I can do. Let me see. It's gonna show my seam is what's gonna happen, unless I want to pick this all the way out. So the way I sewed it, like this is gonna get pressed down in. I left my lining, my exterior lining side out. I thought because I reversed it, but my brain didn't work. So what's gonna happen is, I could leave it like this because it's just me going to the concert. And you can see the stitching, but I'm gonna fix it. So what I'm gonna do is, hopefully it picks apart quick. This is what happens. It sewed together so smoothly that way. That is why that happened. You know what's really funny? I always mess up on parts like this. This was the same problem like months ago when I was making the, what is it? The sweatshirt. And I needed to reverse one of the things and didn't. Alright. So because I put my exterior on the inside, I needed the right side facing out, and instead I had it the wrong side facing out. So thankfully, this thread, I'm using the Tex 35 from Wizardry Stitchery, and this is just very, I don't know if this is Badger yellow. I'd have to double check. I think they have a couple different yellows now. But it picks apart super, super easy. I also think because of the water resistant canvas and the Majestic nylon makes it a bit easier too. So I'm just picking over, I backstitched quite a few times. I'm at like the beginning, or back towards where I had started it, so this part might take a little bit to get through. I mean, it kind of stinks that it was like pretty much the last step besides turning the closing hole. But at least it's something like, nothing's worse to me than like making a mistake and then not realizing it so far in that you'd have to pick apart like half the bag to correct it. So as much as this is a pain in the butt, at least it's literally just something that I can fix right now and I don't have to take apart the whole bag. So I just Googled MetLife. So I'm going to a concert at the MetLife Stadium in New Jersey and Googled MetLife Stadium requirement because different stadiums have different requirements. And MetLife has, if it is a clear bag that is sold like with their football team logo and stuff. It's like 12 inches, 12 by 12 by 6 or something like that. But if it is a solid bag, it could only be 6.5 by 5.5. So I highly, highly recommend that whatever venue you're going to, that you search the venue. All of the ones that I've been to, like there's a concert venue at Jones Beach that I love. Every time I've gone to a concert, if you search the venue, the bag policy has shown up. All right, let's see if this is, yes, okay. This is where I made my mistake. So I had put the exterior on the inside, which is the same thing I'm going to do. The only thing differently is that I had the wrong side facing out and I need the right side facing out. So really, I'm literally just repeating the process that I did. Just that's the only change. And this makes 100% more sense because when I pull, I should have thought about this. When I pull it from the bottom, you want to see the correct side of your bag. The plus side of this is that this hopefully will sew even better because the slick part of my exterior is encased between the lining and the exterior. And there are little threads, but I'm not even gonna pull. I'll pull them out at the end. For the most part, they'll get caught up in the bag. Yeah, Ron, seriously, that happened to me too. I didn't have to put it into my hands, but like I had to walk all the way back to the car. I think it was in Jersey at one of the arenas. I got there and I didn't look ahead of time and they're like, no bags. And I was like I had to go back to the car because I had a huge purse and then put like keys and I hate just like throwing like a debit or credit card into something. Like I like having it in a like a little wallet or something. It was terrible. But yeah, so I highly recommend that. If you're going to a any sports game or concert, just Google the arena, whatever, Google the name of whatever it is and put bag policy, and it should show up. So I have like a little, like a card wallet type thing that holds just a card or two. So that's my plan. I can put my ID in it and like a credit card and slip that into here with the snap. So that's the other thing too. A lot of the arenas and stuff are also going cashless. I don't know if it was noticeable, but that one sewed much faster because I didn't have to worry about the slipperiness of it. Yeah, so the caps for the water, they do that here in New York a lot. So that way no one can throw like a full bottle of liquid. It's always funny whenever we go to an arena where we can keep our bottles or cap, we're like, ooh. of like we go to Madison Square Garden for like the Rangers hockey, and they never let you keep your caps. All right, so now that I've re-sewed the top in the correct order, so now I'm pulling it through, and you can see that it is turning exactly like it should, thankfully. So my exterior and then the lining. I'm not going to sew up the bottom of my lining yet. I always like to top stitch before doing that. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to tuck this down inside and get the top stitch first. Yeah, I do the same thing with like the water. Like, that's the worst. Although some arenas are allowing you to take in, if the water bottle is completely sealed and never been opened, like if it's a plastic one, or if it's like a reusable, like a metal, or like a plastic one that you would constantly like refill and clean at home, if they're empty. So yeah, all of them are so different. All right, so now what I'm gonna do, or what I'm doing, is I tucked the lining down in, and I'm just going to do a top stitch going all the way around, making sure that I put my flap up so I don't catch that. I don't want to accidentally catch it like this. And on larger bags, the reason why I don't close up the opening right away is so I can kind of like stick my hand inside, because sometimes this doesn't always fold out, but for the most part this it's working right now. I'm also going to start and stop in the back, so that way it's not so noticeable in the front. So I like to clip it just to kind of help like keep it where it's supposed to. Thanks, Kim. Yeah, so I just cut rectangles that were 7 inches tall and 5.5 inches wide, because I figured by the time I put the seam allowances in and then like puff this out, it would fit the correct dimensions. I'll have to find a photo. When I first started making bags, I made a whole bunch of these, and I thought I had one, but I think I brought it home to my nieces. Because what I would do is they were even smaller than this, and I would put one D-ring here so you could hook it to a lanyard, and then it would have like an opening where you could put stuff in, and like a little zip pocket in the front. So I'm like, all right, let me adapt that. Okay. So now I'm just going to top stitch as best as I can, which is going to be a little bit difficult because of, again, how small the opening is. And I don't know if you can tell, but I'm kind of like sticking my fingers, like guiding it, because I want to make sure I started where the flap is, so I'm not worried about that getting pushed down, but I want to make sure my D-rings don't get pushed down, and nothing gets like folded under onto itself. I might try doing one of these with box bottom corners, because I'm going to poke this out better in a minute, and I think the box corners would help it give it like a more professional or like cleaner look. Oh, Kim, I can definitely find photos. I have photos of them on my phone for sure. I went through, I have like a bin of some of my first bags that I've made that are just like not very good, and I thought I had one in there, but I don't. I think I brought it for my nieces to play with. And I just hand cranked it over the ring connector, wherever, like the seams, wherever it got a little bit thicker, I just hand cranked it instead of trying to force it through. Though my machine, I'm sure it's very, very good with layers. Oh yeah, I know there's an amphitheater, like the Jones Beach one. I have definitely brought a bag that would be similar in size to like a bum bag, fanny pack type. So yeah, definitely depending on the area you're going to, I'm sure that there's some that will fit the requirements. It seems like the ones that are like stadiums or arenas are the ones that have the strictest and like the smallest bag size. Alright, so I still have the opening in. I just top stitched it. I'm pretty happy with how the top stitch came out. I did it at a quarter inch, or not a quarter, yeah, about a quarter. Between a quarter and an eighth, just because this is slippery. But it looks pretty good. I'm taking the chopstick and just poking out the corners. This is another reason why I like to sew up the turning hole last, because I really like being able to just press along and make sure I'm catching all my seams and poke everything out nicely. If you close up your turning hole, then sometimes you can't fix those last minute little things. So now that I poked it out, actually the bottom corners look much, much better. I'm pretty happy. Oh, thank you. So what I do here is I sewed a little bit in on the left and the right, so I'm just popping those corners out, and honestly, I just kind of put my two pointer fingers in and give it a little tug, and usually the seam allowance folds down in on itself. And that's what's happening. And I always clip at the beginning and the end so I know where to start. And this is something where like some people like to close this up by hand. I never close these up by hand. For the most part, they're tucked in your bag and no one's gonna see them. And I absolutely hate sewing by hand. So. Have a good night, Nicole. Thanks for hopping in. I always do this. I never leave enough thread, and then I turn it like putting needle down and pull my thread out. And I just sewed it so close to the edge that even if you look into the bag, you're not really going to notice. And the fact that the thread blends. Alright, so and now I'm just tucking that down inside. Alright. I'm like, please let this line up. Alright, so that completes it. It has the little snap, so I can put a wallet or whatnot in here. I would show you my phone, but I use my phone to record my videos, but that is going to fit perfectly in the slip pocket in the back. And then I'll show you my idea for the chain. I have a bunch of actual chain straps from when I make my willow wristlet kits. And so I might make a fabric strap. I don't know if they will give me trouble about a metal chain tomorrow. So like I said, I might make a fabric one and just put a very small snap hook on each. But I also thought that if they don't give me a problem, the chain works great. And I think it worked out good because I hate D-rings in the sides here, because then I feel like they're getting, when you put something heavy, they're getting pulled up. So I prefer my D-rings in the back. So I'm really, really happy that it worked out that there was space to the left and right of the flap. And even if you box this, you could probably even put the D-rings right in the seam if you wanted, but that would make it much thicker. I wouldn't do that with my domestic, but if you were sewing on an industrial, I think that would absolutely work. Yeah, so I'm super happy with how this turned out. It should fit the measurements. So I have see. It's with the D-ring part, the D-ring comes up to the 7, but it fits almost exactly 6.5 by 4.5. It's a little bit, but honestly, once I put stuff in, it's gonna make it fatter and make this come down. It's like squished out completely. Yeah, Kim, you're right. It would. I bought some 1/2-inch webbing from Wonderground, but it's pastel, so it wouldn't match. But yeah, that would be absolutely perfect for this size. All right, well, thank you guys for joining me. I hope you found it helpful or inspiring. So, you know, if you've been sewing for a while and you feel comfortable with bags, like, you know, don't be afraid to try out new things. And even if you make mistakes, you can correct it, like how I sewed it wrong the first time along the top. But I always look forward to Tuesdays. School work starts for me next week, but I plan on keep having my Tuesday night lives. So I might be a little bit less active on social media, but definitely plan to continue doing the lives and whatnot. So thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope you have a great night, and hopefully I'll see you next week. Bye, everyone.